Hi there, my name is Snowy. My main human calls me Mr. Snow. I like being a wallflower, and my love language is absolutely not physical touch. Do not let that fool you though. I'm a sweet boy and love your company. I hear I'm pretty handsome. You may admire me from afar, and I will allow it. Oh, and I almost forgot. I have 3 legs. I'm one tough kitty living my best life. I would like to formally introduce you to Snowy. I never really had a particular interest in cats. I was always a dog person. But after the passing of a loved one, for some reason, all I could think about was cats. I was always watching YouTube videos, TikToks, and looking up Instagram posts of these little cute monsters. I decided to get a cat, and I couldn't decide between a Scottish Fold and a Ragdoll. In the end, I ended up going with a ragdoll, but I still would follow multiple accounts on Scottish Fold kitties. Then one day when I was at the mall, I saw a post from a Scottish Fold breeder on Instagram that she was giving away a cat for free. Of course I couldn't pass up on it. Scottish Folds are kind of expensive. And I decided to see the cat in person, and that's when I saw that he was missing a leg. But it was love at first sight. He was a year and a few months old, and then thus began their journey of owning my first kitty. I have always grown up around dogs, and everyone always says dogs and cats are different, but I never really understood it until I got a cat. Cats have completely different vibe. They are calm, quiet, gentle, and their energy comes in spikes. One second, they're graceful, majestic beings, and then the next, they're balls off the wall, acting like a crazy person, to the point where they look suspicious and kind of scary. And then cats are so curious. They find the smallest things fascinating and can play with it for hours. For example, a piece of string. He could just lie there and play with a piece of string for a good long while. I feel like cats look through a macro lens, seeing the little details and things, while humans just see more of the bigger picture. And then also, it's harder to play with a cat. I bought so many toys in order for my cat to be interested in it, you have to really imitate a live animal. If not, they won't even find it appealing. And then they kind of remind me of little rodents. They're small and they can fit in little cracks and crevices, and they act like mini moving dusters, like just collecting dust. So I feel like cats being clean, it is kind of true, like they do clean themselves, but they can also be pretty dirty sometimes. And then also their poop smells pretty bad, and they really mess up furniture, unlike dogs, I feel. But with that being said, I find cats super adorable. They just make you feel so relaxed, and the littlest things they do are just so entertaining.
Snow, your eyes are so pretty.
I was initially deciding between a Scottish Fold and a Ragdoll cat because they would always show up on most dog-like cat lists. My family has 3 dogs, and I, for some reason, thought if a cat is dog-like, probably they would mingle along better with each other, but that wasn't the case. It took them about 3 months to get acquainted with one another. Once I would see progress with their interactions, one dog would find Snowy interesting again, and the rest of the dogs would just gain interest as well and then scare Snowy away. My dogs all actually had different reactions to Snowy as well. One was extremely interested in him to the point where he would try to sniff him all the time, every chance that he got. And another one could care less about him, but he would have bouts of growling at him or bouts of trying to play with him. And then my last dog, my smallest dog, was just really, really afraid of him. But I think once they got used to each other's smell and their company, and found that they were not gonna kill each other, they actually started to get along. At one point I thought it was hopeless because I did not see any improvement. That one dog who was truly fixated on Snowy would constantly smell under Snowy's room and sometimes just stare at the door that Snowy was sleeping in. Truly obsessive. But the dog was truly harmless, all bark and no bite. He truly wouldn't hurt a fly. I just had to give it a little more time and they were able to be in the same room with each other. I always made sure that my cat had easy escape routes when the dogs were close by. I didn't want Snowy feeling unsafe, especially when he only has 3 legs. And I'm glad I invested in a cat tree so that when he was insecure about something, he could just always climb up the cat tree to get away from the dogs. Here's my obsessive dog, just being my obsessive dog. Nothing new. This is in the beginning phases. This is my other dog who really didn't really care about Snowy. He would be interested once in a while, like so, but he was easily distracted. He showed more interest in humans than he did with cats, so it was easy to train him to be comfortable with Snowy. And then this one was my smallest dog. He was so scared. He just basically pretends that Snowy isn't there. And if he doesn't see Snowy, it's not a problem. Because Snowy was my first cat, there was a lot of learning through trial and error. I experimented with a lot of things. For example, different litters. I wanted to choose the most comfortable experience for Snowy. I had a small, relatively low-walled litter box, but I noticed he wouldn't even bury his waist. I thought that maybe the box was too small, so I opted for a senior litter box that had an even lower entry and was a lot wider. But Snowy to this day attempts to cover his waist, but mainly only scratches outside the litter box, even though it's a huge little litter box. This is something I'm still trying to fix. If anyone has any ideas, please let me know. Other than that, for example, toys. Snowy's not really interested in a lot of toys, like balls, self-playing toys, rats on a stick, feathers on a stick. You have to really get into it for Snowy to even actually get interested. But one day when I was just hanging out with him, he found like a bunch of sticks interesting. So I decided to like play with it with him, and he just went insane. He loves it. It's his favorite toy. I could go around the room multiple times and he'll just keep running after it. Sometimes it's the cheapest things that are the best for cats. Those those mouse toys and those feather toys were pretty expensive. Snowy was just interested in like sticks. So I'm glad he's a cheap cat. And then also I try to put him on a leash, walk my cat. I'm still working on it. He's gotten really comfortable with the leash itself. He doesn't really have a problem with it, but I think the idea of him going outside and is a bit, he likes going outside. It's just I get scared just because if there is a dog, I don't want him to get out of the leash. So I'm still working on that. And then also I've noticed that Snowy likes to run out of the house more when the leash is not even on him. So I feel like I need to first get him to come when I say his name on a regular basis. And so I'm still working on that. I chose to just take the walking outside, give it a little pause, and then just focus on more important things. I think I was just too gung-ho about it. I do worry sometimes about Snowy only having 3 legs. I heard that a back leg missing on a cat is a little bit worse than having a front leg missing, just because the back legs are used to like jump, run fast, and things like that. But Snowy has been doing well so far. When he's running, I can't tell that he has 3 legs. You just forget. And then everybody in my family just forgets too. You can only really notice that Snowy has 3 legs is when he starts walking slow, he starts hopping. But other than that, he still plays, he still jumps, he loves food, just like a regular kitty. And I love him so much. I can't wait to see him grow old and be my little cat child for the rest of his life. He's stuck with me forever.